Hey everybody, this is the Mind of Lilith, and welcome to another open mind intuitive tarot message. This message will be for my subscribers, and I'm going to let the Astro Dice choose the topic of interest for you guys today. So I just recorded another reading, and the audio on that reading was shaking and baking. And I don't know what's going on, but I have to change my microphone. Hopefully the audio for this recording is a little better. In the previous reading, the focus was on the first house. We'll see what house is chosen for this reading. Spirit guides, archangels, and divine messengers. What important message does my audience, my subscribers, need to hear at this time? Important message for the audience, please. My subscribers, whoever's watching this. The fifth house. The fifth house is the house of creativity, expression, our inner child. The house of psychology, the self even, relationships, romance. You guys may be focused on romance and relationships. How can you attract the partner that you want? How can you attract the partner that you want? That's essentially what's happening here. There could also be an interest in developing a talent or skill, something you enjoyed doing once upon a time. Freedom. Some of you have been taking life very, very seriously for the past several years, and you just want to lay your head down, or what's it called? Let your hair down and have fun. Go on a vacation. It's springtime. You just want to have fun. Cut a rug, paint the town red. You may end up meeting someone romantic while you're out having fun. Or you could be having fun with a romantic partner. I'm getting, though, that you may end up meeting someone in a romantic capacity once you start doing something creative, like a hobby, or you start having more fun in your life, like hobbies and things of that nature. You'll meet someone while you're enjoying a hobby or doing something creative, like attending a workshop for painters or horticulture, going to conferences, going on vacations. You may meet someone while you're enjoying your life, essentially. So there's a focus and interest on relationships and romance. Spirit guides, let me get some keywords for the collective. I'm trying to figure out, how do I meet this person? Where can I meet someone? You'll meet them while you're doing what you love. So you'll meet the love of your life while you're doing something that you love. So you guys may have been focusing so much on relational, sexual, romantic love that you neglected the love that you should have been cultivating for yourself. You've neglected to cultivate love for yourself, which is why you're not expressing yourself creatively in any way. Shopping is not a form of creative expression. What are you making with your hands? What are you doing for fun? How are you developing yourself as a person? And once you start doing that and start pouring into yourself by way of some sort of creative endeavor, you're going to meet this person. You're going to meet a new partner while you're having fun. This person has shared interests. There's shared mutual interests between you guys. So it's not just about the physical attraction or what you're wearing or how you smell. You guys have common interests. But if you don't know what your interests are, you can't meet someone with common interests. Correct? Okay, so what's going on for the collective? My audience, I need some keywords, please. Jeez, this whole thing fell out of my hand. I'll take this one because it was out. Horse, high horse. Dependable to own, detriment. Faulty foundation, in need of work, workhorse. Fine outside, unstable inside, proud. Leo energy is here. This is like the shadow side of Leo. Haughtiness, arrogance, conceitedness, superficiality, right? Classism, elitism. That's the other side of Leo. And even Aquarius. So how are you going to connect with someone if you, I don't know, if you're above it all? You don't want to get your hands dirty. You don't have interest outside of shopping and going to work and looking good. There's something here about your attitude that's preventing you from meeting this person. You may think you're too good to do certain things. Dependable to your own detriment. Someone who's focused on work and responsibilities. 4th house stuff. Saturn stuff. 10th house stuff. But not 5th house. It's a faulty foundation. So your life is stable, but you're not happy. Obviously. And you're not happy because you don't have love, I guess. And you're preventing yourself or blocking yourself from love by way of ignoring the creative aspect of your identity. There's a sense of like, I'm wasting time here. Right? I don't have time to draw or paint or sculpt or go hiking. I'm here to make money. Something like that. What do you bring to the table? How much money do you make? What do you do for a living? 10th house, high horse energy, social status. Fine outside, unstable inside. You look good, but you're alone. You have nice things, but you have no one to share them with. There could be a sense of contempt towards frivolities. Somebody could be a Capricorn, someone a rising sign. A contempt towards frivolities. I'll sleep when I'm dead. Work hard, play hard. Something like that. One more place for the collective. For my audience in particular. What's happening here? Friend. 11th house energy. Trust. Quiet. Comfort. Comfortable. Hanging out. Doing nothing with someone you like. Pal. And some of you guys are like, I'm wasting my time. I'm too good for that. What are you doing? Like, it's someone is very ambitious, very career-oriented, goal-oriented. And this is 11th house energy, 5th and 11th house Aquarius. This is like, you're not looking for a friend. You're looking for an employee. You're not looking for a husband or a partner. You're looking for an employee. You don't want friends. You want associates who can help you in your career. This is somebody who may only associate with people who are of a certain status, who make a certain amount of money, who are part of a fraternity or sorority, very haughty energy. So your friends are, your friends are very, I won't say high class. You're very selective of your friendships. Not even friends. They're not friends. They're associates. They're coworkers. They're part of your clique. You're only with them because they can do something for you, or there's like this, like a social club based on income status. And that's, I guess, that attitude is preventing you from meeting someone you like. Not someone you get along with because you both can pay the bills and you both look good on paper. Someone is blocking their true love from coming in because they don't know how to have fun. They look down on fun or people who have fun. They take relationships very seriously. They want to get married. This is like a very rigid, stiff person. Focused on how they look to their friends. So when they meet someone, male or female, they can't enjoy quality time with them because they're so concerned about how other people see them. So you can't be their friend, or they can't be your friend unless you're making this much money, or you live in this zip code, or you drive that kind of car. Very Atlanta, DMV area. You guys may live in that region. Atlanta, DMV, maybe New York, maybe LA. You see the difference? This person's by themselves. This person's with a friend they can trust. Quiet comfort. Not about money, not about other people, right? Comfortable, hanging out. Who do you hang out with? It's not, this is like really affected with the A. Conceited, classist, elitists. So you don't really have any true friends. If you were to lose your job tomorrow, the people who you're associated with now would look down on you. Or they would dissociate from you, disconnect from you. You need to find someone who you trust, who you like, who likes you for who you are and not what you have. And you also need to start liking people for who they are and not what they have. That's the issue too. So when you're doing things you enjoy, you love to do, like cooking and horticulture, or I don't know, drawing, singing, dancing, whatever it is that you like, nobody cares about how much money you make when you're doing what you love, right? If you were to go to a workshop with a bunch of people who like talking about books, your job doesn't matter. Your contribution to the group based on whatever the conversation is about or whatever the topic is about, that's what they value the most, right? You as a person, your contribution based on your individuality and your own creativity, and not how much money you make. So this could be a book club, cooking club, hike, it's something, traveling group, whatever. But it's something you're interested in outside of work, what you do for fun. You're not going to find your spouse, whoever this is, at work or in your profession, because they're also like you, very snooty, very haughty, and they're kind of a hard ass and very career oriented and kind of conceited. So it's hard for you to feel comfortable with them. They're very judgmental, just like you are. You got to find somebody who does what you like and who's not judged by how much money they make, how they look, what kind of car they drive, their zip code. I'm not saying get with a drug addicted bum. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that you'll meet someone who you have a lot in common with if you start doing things you love to do. So don't look for commonalities based on income and career and zip code. Look for commonalities based on your creative interests. That's where the love will come in. Find a friend, not a co-worker to marry or business partner to marry. That's what you've been doing. Spirit guides, more insight please for the collective. I'm being told to choose another deck. I would choose this one. I was going to choose my good tarot, but alas. Okay, I don't like this, these boxes. Is that it? That is all. Okay. Spirit guides, what's happening for the collective, my audience, as it pertains to this message? What else do they need to know here? It's like the Sun card, the Six of Cups, maybe the Six of Wands, maybe. The Empress, Two of Cups. Devil energy. Spirit guides, what's going on for the collective here? Thank you, Archangel Gabriel, for your insight and your guidance. What's happening for you guys? More advice. Judgment and the Empress card. There we go. What are your values? Reevaluating your values. King of Cups and the Seven of Cups. You got material happiness. That's there. I'm sorry, this is Nine of Cups. My bad. And the King of Cups and the Empress and the Judge. See, you got the money, You got the status, got the career, but you don't have love here. And you may meet somebody who's not your usual type. Doesn't mean they're a bum, but they're not your type. Your usual type. Because they're of a different station, different income, different class, whatever. They didn't go to college, but they make good money. They don't have the letters behind their name, but they make good money. They're not a part of a fraternity or sorority, but they still take care of themselves. This is, the Empress is someone who's on a high horse. She is the queen of all queens. This King of Cups is not on the same level. They have a lot of love to give. I'm going to say this. Don't get mad. This could be a teacher. Someone who makes an okay salary, makes $75,000, $80,000 a year, while you make $210,000 a year. But this person has lots of love to give. They love children. They're a nurturer, but they don't make as much money as you make. This could be a counselor, right? A social worker, King of Cups. You're the Empress making six figures, and they're not making that much money, but they have a lot of love to give you. So now what are you going to do? You're going to say, even though you're handsome and you're great with children and you have a career that's not as high paying as mine, I'm going to let you go because I want someone who makes me look good on the red carpet or makes me look good at my conferences. Someone on my level. This person's not on your level. They're not on your level. Doesn't mean that they're a bad person, but financially they're not. But they have a lot of love for you. You can meet this person while doing something you enjoy doing. Volunteering, working in the community. And don't shut them down because of their social status or their class. Don't do that. This person's really, really sweet. More information, please, for the collective. The Hangman, the Temperance, all these major arcanas. This is like a life-changing shift, a change in perspective, the Hangman. A change in perspective that helps you to heal whatever wounds you have regarding social status and resources. So you could have grown up really poor and disenfranchised, and now you've made it. And so you have this attitude towards people who are struggling that you may have felt like you were subject to or victim of when you were poor. So it's like you're becoming what you tried to run away from, or you're becoming the type of person who will look down on people who were like you growing up. And you realize that. So you're shifting, you're pivoting, going a whole different direction and healing that insecurity about resources and social status. You're choosing someone for their heart and their passions and their interests, and not how much money they make, how they make you look, so on and so forth. The Victory card. I mentioned Six of Wands might be here. Attention, but it's also victoriously overcoming some sort of internal self-destructive attitude and perspective in relationships. You're seeing things differently now. The Victory is also Leo energy, the 5th house, creativity, doing things you love to do. Not what you want to do for money. You may love money, but there's something else that is missing. And you've learned that lesson, or you're learning that lesson. The 5 of Swords. Yep. Self-defeating attitudes and behaviors, perspectives, worrying about other people's worrying about what your friends are going to say if you come up to them in some sort of conference and they're a teacher or a guidance counselor or an after-school director, whatever. They're not in a C-suite. They don't have a C-suite status, right? They don't have all these certifications. They don't have all the, and this is you overcoming that. Is he a good man or woman? Does he have integrity? Does he love you or like you? Do you have the same interests? Is he employed, or does he have interests? No, I'm going to say interests. Is he employed? Does he have a career? Doesn't have to be a high-paying career, but does he have a career? 5 of Wands. This is internal strife. It's a lot. It's rough because you've been conditioned into seeing things a certain way. You've been conditioned, and you could be receiving like flack from your friends. Oh, girl, you could do better. Oh, guy, you could do better. But you're going to move forward with this person. I don't think you should turn your back on them. That is a possibility here. That's your judgment call. Either you're waiting for this person to come, or you're turning your back on them, depending on your own personal situation. And these are general readings, but this person's here or on their way. But you're going to have to ignore the chatter from, not the haters, but people who, your parents even, how much money they make. Oh, they're a teacher. I don't know. You could do, why not get with a lawyer? Why not get with a doctor? Why not get with an entrepreneur? Why are you with a bus driver? Something like that. And you got to ignore that. There could be competition for this person as well. There could be competition for this person if they're a good person, a good catch. Or you may be thinking you can do better. That's something you want to have to haggle with. That's why you're kind of stuck. Am I settling? Can I do better? But it depends on what your value system is. What are your values? What do you value more? Social approval and other people liking the person that you're with, being envied by others, or real, genuine, true love and commitment and compassion and friendship? Do you want to be on your high horse, or do you want to be with somebody that you can walk with hand in hand? Yeah, well, that's up to you guys. I have no judgment here. I don't know what's going on. This is like a loveless marriage, or a marriage of convenience. Saturn in the 7th house. A marriage based on responsibilities, obligations, like a politician. Or, like the Obamas, right? Politician. There's not a lot of passion there. Or love, really. It's kind of dry. But at least she became the first black first lady, right? So what are your values? Is that more important to you than real, genuine, true connection? If so, please don't cheat on this high value person with someone who's not. Don't do that. A lot of people want their cake and eat it too. They want to have the status of being someone high value, right? They want to marry someone of high value, but then they'll do low value things. They'll hang out with low value people that they would never even marry, because that person connects with them in a way that their high value person does not. That's not fair. If you're on the other side of this, guys, if you're the low value person and someone's judging you for what you don't have, do not entertain them. Don't give them an out. Don't make it easier for them to use you, right? To use you to make their lives more pleasant while looking down on you. You're not good enough to marry, but you're good enough to have sex with. You're good enough to make me feel better about my miserable marriage. You boost my ego. 6 of Wands. Be careful not to do that. Okay? On both sides. What's going on, collective? Spirit guys, thank you for your insight. Thank you for this information. One card, please. What is happening for my subscribers? Okay, we have Pivot. Thank you. Judgment card. Sometimes when things aren't falling in place after trying and trying with the same old men and the same old women, it's time to ask yourself if pivoting in some way would be a good idea so that your life can flow more easily and effortlessly. The Hangman. I must be doing something wrong. Why am I not married yet? How could you pivot even just a little bit? Change your perspective about the value of a person based on how they make you feel, not what they have. Reconnect with your own 5th house or your own inner child. Let me see if I need another card to expound on this some more. Let me look. Is there another card, another deck? Yes. One last one and I'm done. I have maybe 50 or 60 decks here. Half I haven't even used yet, or haven't used for quite a while. We'll see, Spirit Guides, what's happening for the collective. Another message to close this out. Let's close it out. Mistakes. We misunderstood. Victim and lost soul. Someone has made mistakes in their love life. It seems like the mistake is choosing people for what they have and not who they are. Let's get some more clarification. You could be misunderstanding this person. Abandoned, clinging, intimacy. Right. So, I think I mentioned earlier about someone having a traumatic childhood, a childhood that could have scarred them because they were poor or neglected in some way. And if you're with someone for what they have, they can't hurt you if they leave you. If you don't love them like that, and they inevitably betray you, then they can't really hurt you. It's like an avoided attachment style. Clinging, intimacy, and abandoned. A fear of abandonment. So you don't really want an intimate relationship based on how you feel, based on a mutual, genuine connection on a soul level. You want to connect on superficial levels based on what you have and how you look and your status. Therefore, when you guys inevitably break up for whatever reason, or they cheat or you cheat, it won't hurt as bad. You have more power here. You have more power. Hold on. Did this thing flip upside down? Am I seeing things? You have more power. I'll turn it upside down. You have more power in a situation if you don't love this person. If I don't love you, you can't hurt me. Simple. So let me choose somebody for their letters behind their name, their degrees, their LinkedIn profile, right? Their job title, their income levels, and then I'll avoid the inevitability of abandonment, which is what you may have experienced or felt as a child. Okay? I'm going to leave it there. Thank you guys for listening. I look forward to reading your feedback. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll speak to you soon.